Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge.com. Big day today, y'all. Excited about it. LSU with a rare midweek non-conference road game in the Power Five, I guess. I guess they're all any midweek road game for LSU is rare. They'll usually make one road trip a year to an in-state school, and they'll bounce around. But to head over to Austin and play Texas is a pretty cool novelty. Don't really see this. Don't see LSU do this much. If you missed yesterday on AFR, had Jay Johnson on the show. By the way, that interview is part of LSU Daily today. So if you want to catch the LSU Daily podcast, highly recommend. And Jay kind of talked about his scheduling philosophy and how LSU will always have opening weekend at the box. That's a special weekend. He always wants opening weekend at the box, but he wants to build his schedule around RPI. So he knows he's got 30 built-in RPI opportunities with the SEC, but wants to make sure in the non-conference he's scheduling with RPI in mind. So it's something that regardless of what the team is playing for, if it's to get into regionals, if it's to be a host or to be a national seed, that their RPI is always going to be beneficial to them. So LSU will take on Texas today. Interestingly, when I had Jay on the show, he would not disclose his pitching plans. So the assumption has been all along that Thatcher Hurd would get the ball. I said the assumption is Thatcher Hurd will get the ball, and he's like, yeah, we're not ready to make that announcement yet until we know what they're gonna do. Just don't want to give up any competitive advantage. So I get it. So we will wait and see, but my assumption is Thatcher Hurd will get the ball. I'm guessing we'll see Christian Little today as well. So it was interesting to hear him say that Christian Little was available on Saturday, and the situation never arose to get him in the ballgame. I mean, they could have thrown him on Saturday. They could have thrown him at any point on Sunday, but it was less about just getting him work and more about not using that bullet in your gun. I think understanding, they had this opportunity today against Texas. So anyway, so LSU in Texas tonight from Austin, pretty cool. A game is on the Longhorn Network, so if you're looking for the game, you got to have a Longhorn Network. Shout out Stevie Levy, the King of the Wing, over at Pluckers. Pluckers, both locations will have the game. They have the Longhorn Network. Both locations will have the game tonight. And of course, if you're in Baton Rouge. And then Pels lost last night. I'm officially ready to say that that I'm done for the season. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to watch them. Still going to see how they play out the string. And they may make their way into the play-in. Even if they do make it into the play-in, I don't know that they'd win the play-in or even win a first-round series. So, very disappointing, man. You're teetering and you have a home game against a team that's 11 games below 500. You got to win that game, and they didn't. So very, very disappointing loss for the Pels last night. And now you got to go on a 3-game West Coast road trip where you're going to play Golden State and Sacramento, and this point's what it is, man. You're just you peaked early in the year, you had an unfortunate injury, and you weren't able to overcome it. So 20 games to go, and ship's been sinking for 2 months now. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Truax, what's good, man? Jeff McKiffin, Ryan Amanda Guidry, John Wesley Wagner, good morning. Jason Horn, good morning. Dad, good morning. John said, go Tigers, enjoy the talk with Coach yesterday. Thanks, John. Appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, Jay's great and very accessible and generous with his time, so always appreciate that. Matt Plavidal, good morning. So will all the LSU baseball fans lose their mind if they lose to Texas? Not all of them, Matt. I mean, there's always the vocal group that can't stand anytime LSU loses a game. So they were out on Saturday when LSU lost to Iowa, but and then they don't say anything when LSU comes back the next day and pummels San Houston State 16-4. It's just another opportunity. It's the pre-conference is all about getting ready for SEC play, because at its most basic level, if your goal is get to Omaha, the easiest way to do that is through the box. And the way that you host a super regional and get a national seed is if you win 20 conference games. You go 20-10 in the SEC, you're a virtual lock to be a national seed. So it's really using these first 4 weeks to get yourself ready for conference play, and they better be ready, because out the gate, it's a big time challenge right out the gate in the conference. Wendell Norman, Tim Gotro, good morning. Patrick Ramos, good morning. What's up with Crane & Company and Snaps both talking FSU leaving the ACC? Are there rumblings, or is this just off-season filler? So I haven't heard what either of them said. The current ACC grant and rights, if you remember when realignment was happening, the ACC kind of doubled down and signed like a 10-year grant and rights deal. Hang on. I'll tell you how long it is. So the ACC agreed to a 20-year media rights deal through the 2035-2036 season. That was in 2016 they agreed to this. 20-year deal. The problem with that is, in signing a 20-year deal, you don't account for changes in the market. Now, you create stability for your league, right? Because all of your members are now, the league owns their media rights for 20 years. And it makes it virtually impossible to get out of the contract. So it provides stability for the league, meaning your league isn't going to get poached. That's one. But two, in signing a 20-year grant rights, you don't appropriately allow for yourself to adjust and negotiate as the market adjusts. So think about, that was a pre-college football, 2016 was pre-college football playoff expansion. That was pre-Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC, pre-USC, UCLA to the Big Ten. So the landscape of college football has changed so much, and rights deals have gotten richer and richer. Well, the ACC is just stagnant because they signed a 20-year deal. So, if a team tried to leave the ACC, they would forfeit their opportunity to earn revenue through media through the year 2036. So, for example, if Florida State decided this year they're going to leave the ACC and come to the SEC, that's not going to happen, but hypothetically, Florida State would get $0 from the media rights deal through 2036. It's 2023. So for 13 more years, they would get $0 through media rights. All of that money would go to the ACC. So, there's just, that doesn't even include exit fees. Whatever is in the contract And I'm reading it right here. The ACC exit fee is currently standing at $120 million. So like, and the ACC paid out $36 million to its schools. So you would $36 million annually you would not receive. Plus, you'd have to pay $120 million in exit fees. So there's really no financial way that any school leaves the ACC. I think what they're talking about is, and I could be wrong because I haven't heard the conversation, but like the Florida State athletic director did some saber rattling and talked about the ACC's lack of revenue, because when you look at it, if the ACC is stagnant at you're paying out $36 million per year, whatever it's going to be, even if there's escalators on it, I mean, the SEC is paying out, and the Big Ten are paying out 50 some odd million dollars annually to their teams. And then that's only going to grow as Texas and OU come in, right? So that's the issue there. But there's no way. I don't see a path for Florida State or any ACC team to leave it anytime soon. Jeff Hogg, good morning, man. Hope all's well. Jesse Brown, good morning. With Saints likely cutting Winston, do you think they could re-sign him at a lesser cap number? Sure. Sure, they could. They're not going to. I mean, Dennis Allen told you he showed his hand. I mean, he stuck with Andy Dalton instead of Jameis Winston. They're not going to re-sign him. I mean, they showed you their hand. They don't like Jameis Winston. Okay, next. Weston Weaver, Larry Garner, Brian Penton, good morning from Baltimore. Okay. Brian Ashcraft, good morning. What a disappointment the Pels have become. No doubt, man. I agree completely. I think, there was so much excitement around them because, a year ago, and I know I've heard the thing, people have said, well, you can't lose your best player in Zion and expect to compete. Well, keep in mind what happened last year. I mean, you were without Zion for the whole year. You made the trade deadline deal for McCollum and Larry Nance. And you finished strong. You won the play. You got in the play-in. You won the play-in. And then you pushed Phoenix to 6 games. And Phoenix, you forget, had the best record in the NBA last year by a wide margin. So this year you come in and you're thinking, all right, well, now you get Zion back. Like, expect a progression. And it just didn't happen. It happened early. So you could say, well, no Zion now. Well, they did it last year without Zion. This same group, led by Brandon Ingram and C.J. McCollum and Jonas Valanciunas and Jose Alvarado coming off the bench and Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, not on Herb. I mean, it's just, they were so exciting last year. There was a justifiable increase in expectations, and they just haven't lived up to it, unfortunately. Hunter Broadhead, Matt, good morning. How many picks would you be willing to give up to get Lamar? I don't know what that deal would look like, Hunter. Would I give up like this year and next year's first round picks? Yes. Would I give 29 this year, whatever your first round pick is next year? Yes. Is that enough? I don't know. I don't know what that deal would look like. I'm telling you, I don't know. Jesse Brown, good morning. Merrick Mathern, only way to watch the game is Longhorn Network. Yes. Tonight. Brad David, yesterday said on air, Will Wade would still be here if an assistant was caught on wiretap instead of Will. Isn't that the head coach's responsibility? You could order that. You could argue that, Brad. But then, I look at guys like Bill Self and John Calipari and other coaches who have Bruce Pearl at Auburn. Other coaches who have been interwoven in this, or their programs have been interwoven in this same thing, and they survived. So it's not to say definitively that Will would still be the coach, but you could have a fall guy. Was the point I was making. My point continues to be like, you just can't remove all culpability from Will Wade. Like, people are acting like Will Wade is a victim. Well, Will Wade did a stupid thing. Like, I don't know what, like, were there other people doing it? Yes, but it's the speeding example. Like, everybody speeds on the interstate. And if you happen to be the guy going 85 passing a state trooper on I-10 and he pulls you over and gives you a ticket, it sucks for you, but you were going 85 past a state trooper on I-10 when the speed limit is posted 65. I mean, that's the Will Wade situation. Does everybody cheat? Yes, everybody cheats. And now it's legal, which makes it even worse. Because, like, it's, hey, well, they just bumped up the speed limit. Okay, well, when you were speeding, the posted speed limit was 65 and you were going 85. You got a ticket. Like, this is what it is, man. And it's what it is. It sucks. And I feel the same way all y'all do. But you can't remove culpability from Will. Like, he's the guy that was on the federal wiretap. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. And then people are like, well, they never found anything. They got payments coming out of a bank account in his wife's name. I mean, what are we talking about? Eric Waterwater, good morning, man. I love how open and transparent Jay Johnson is on interviews. Did we ever learn the ruling on the 10-run rule? I don't know why, but I mean, it has to be agreed upon beforehand. Apparently it wasn't, so I don't know that. But yes, Jay's great. Cajun Country, is this a make or break for Thatcher Hurd? No. Second game of the season? No, not at all. Lawrence Burley, good morning. Barry Joslin, what's going on? Bailey C, good morning. Y'all smash that like button. I'm short on time. Got a few more minutes left here. Is the Saints front office not as good as we thought, or does Dennis Allen have total power? Boy, that's a deeply rooted question, Bailey, and I don't have time really to peel back the layers of that onion right now, so I apologize. But I think they've drafted well. I think they have. I think they've drafted well. I think they have made poor decisions in free agency. You know, like keeping Marcus Davenport and letting Trey Hendrickson walk. Not re-signing Marcus Williams, re-signing Marcus May, or signing Marcus May. Bad decision. You know what I mean? I think that's where I could say that they've had issues. You know, maybe evaluating their own talent, making the decision who they're going to keep. Let's see. I'm short on time. I got to go. I'm so sorry, y'all. I got to go. Very sorry. It's Reed Rule, morning Scone, Pels collapse is depressing. Had the chance to take over NOLA when the Saints being down. Austin Kidder, good morning from Vegas. All right, man. I'll be there on Friday. Beat Texas. The improvement in defensive play, especially by Jordan Thompson, has been great to see. Yes, completely agree. They're a strong defensive team. And they're deep defensively as well. I mentioned this, but like the third game, the game on Sunday when they made their defensive replacements, they moved Joe Bear to left, put Kling in right, Milazzo caught, and Morgan went to first, from left to first. You just instantly became a better defensive team. And the first batter hit a ball down the right field line, and Paxton Kling made a beautiful running catch on the line. Yeah, man, yes, I agree. Ryan Pike, all right, going to be at the game tonight. Jesse Brown, I know the Pels should have had injuries. With the disappointment, do you think coaching changes may be coming? Maybe. See how they finish. Chris P, Kelly Gross, good morning. Smash that like button. All right, it's 8 o'clock. I got to get going. Sorry, y'all. Who did I miss? Shelby, what's going on? Eric Hart, would you say this midweek game matters? Jesus Christ. The result of the game will not matter big picture for LSU. Playing the game is a RPI opportunity for LSU that Jay Johnson is leaning into. So, good. Great. Go win it. Stephen Miller, good morning. Simmer down. Let's see. Stephen, Peter Burns said it will cost FSU $300 million. Yikes, no thanks. Right. So, like, that would be the rights fees over, so call it $36 million in rights fees that you would not recoup, right, over, so it would actually be more than that, Stephen, because if you have to pay $120 million in exit fees, which would reduce each year, but let's just call it $100 million in exit fees, and you don't collect $36 million in media rights through 2036, That's 13 years, which 13 times 30. I mean, you're talking, geez, I mean, uh, that's close to 400 million. You know, that's incredible. Incredible. Okay, I got to get going. Scott Barnes, what's going on, man? All right, I got to get going. Oh, it's 8:01. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Thanks as always for watching. Shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. You need an orthopedics, go to Brock. You need a roof, give us a shout at Hudco. Restore Motions. You got pain, call Crystal Poche, book a session. RestoreMotions.com. And ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, y'all have an awesome day. LSU Daily is live. AFR 3. We'll see you then. Peace.